the United States narrowly avoided a government shutdown on December 20, 2024. The House of Representatives passed a stopgap funding bill just hours before the midnight deadline. The vote was 366 to 34, a decisive margin that sent a clear message of relief across the nation. This bill provides a temporary lifeline for government operations, extending funding into March 2025. This stopgap measure, while crucial, is just a temporary fix. The bill is designed to buy time for lawmakers to hammer out a longer-term spending plan. However, it highlights the deep divisions that continue to plague Congress, particularly when it comes to fiscal matters. The bill includes crucial provisions for disaster relief and aid to farmers. These measures address urgent needs across the country and garnered bipartisan support during negotiations. Their inclusion was hailed as a victory by many, demonstrating that even in times of political gridlock, Congress can still come together to address the needs of the American people. However, conspicuously absent from the bill was a suspension of the debt limit. This issue, a political hot potato, was left unaddressed, setting the stage for another high-stakes battle in the new year. The decision to omit the debt limit from this stopgap bill underscores the contentious nature of the issue and the challenges that lie ahead for lawmakers. With the House's passage of the stopgap funding bill, all eyes turned to the Senate. The upper chamber of Congress needed to act swiftly to avert a shutdown. The White House, eager to avoid a crisis, signaled its support for the bill. They stressed the importance of its passage, particularly highlighting the inclusion of disaster relief funds. The Senate, in a rare display of efficiency, approved the bill later that day. This bipartisan vote ensured that government operations would continue uninterrupted. The inclusion of disaster relief in the bill was a significant victory for communities across the nation, grappling with the aftermath of natural disasters. These funds will provide a much-needed lifeline for recovery and rebuilding efforts. However, the looming debt ceiling issue cast a long shadow over the proceedings. The decision to address the debt limit separately, likely in a reconciliation package, sets the stage for a potential showdown in the new year. This strategy, while potentially risky, reflects the deep divisions within Congress over spending and the national debt. The passage of the stopgap bill, while averting an immediate crisis, did little to quell the anxieties surrounding the government's finances. The debt ceiling, a recurring point of contention in Washington, threatens to plunge the nation back into uncertainty in the coming months. This issue, a political football for years, underscores the fragility of the government's fiscal health. President-elect Trump's looming presence loomed large over the negotiations, despite not officially taking office until January. His opposition to an earlier bipartisan deal, primarily due to the inclusion of a debt limit suspension, significantly complicated matters. Trump's demand for a clean debt limit increase, coupled with his willingness to accept a shutdown, injected a level of uncertainty into the process. Speaker Johnson, caught in the middle of this high-stakes political drama, faced immense pressure from all sides. He walked a tightrope, attempting to appease both the moderate and far-right factions within his party, while also trying to avert a shutdown. Johnson's communication with Trump throughout the negotiations highlighted the former president's continued influence over the Republican Party. Adding another layer of drama to the proceedings was Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's farewell speech. A stalwart of the Senate, McConnell used his final address to stress the importance of bipartisanship and compromise. He cited the current shutdown threat as a prime example of what happens when political point scoring takes precedence over finding common ground. His words served as a stark reminder of the dysfunction that has come to characterize modern American politics. The negotiations surrounding the stopgap bill exposed the deep divisions within the Republican Party. The influence of President-elect Trump, despite not yet being in office, was palpable, further complicating an already delicate situation. Speaker Johnson, tasked with navigating this complex political landscape, found himself in the unenviable position of trying to appease multiple factions with often conflicting priorities. The averted government shutdown, while a victory for common sense, left in its wake a series of important questions about the future of American governance. The political maneuvering, the brinkmanship, and the evident lack of consensus on fundamental issues paint a concerning picture of a government teetering on the edge of dysfunction. Had a shutdown occurred, the consequences would have been felt far and wide. Federal employees deemed non-essential would have faced furloughs, impacting their livelihoods and families. Essential services, from air travel to national park operations, would have been disrupted, causing inconvenience and hardship for millions. The Department of Defense, a cornerstone of national security, would have also felt the strain, potentially impacting readiness and operations. The ripple effects would have been felt throughout the economy, impacting consumer confidence and potentially slowing economic growth. The shutdown, had it occurred, would have been a self-inflicted wound, damaging the nation both domestically and on the world stage. The averted shutdown serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of American democracy. The willingness of elected officials to play political games with the livelihoods of millions is deeply troubling. As the nation moves forward, it is imperative that lawmakers prioritize the needs of the people they represent over partisan bickering. The future of the nation depends on it.